Hey girl, hey. All right, today I want to talk quickly about strategy. What does that mean? When you hear the word strategy, I think we overcomplicate it in our minds. I know I have for a very long time. I can't strategize. I'm like, girl, you do nothing but strategize. It's you overcomplicating your mind because it sounds deeper than what it really is. Okay. So if you don't know, I am Sane, the owner of Sane & Co. Email Marketing. We offer email marketing services to women-owned small businesses. So everything from email sign-up forms, funnels, and ongoing email campaigns, we do that for you. We can even go ahead and add in some SMS marketing for you, girl. All right. So strategy. Strategy is really your overall plan. What is your goal? Keep it simple. You don't want to have too many goals. That's a problem. We have too many goals. We're trying to accomplish. I want to sell. I'm trying to get some consultations. I need to nurture these people. I need to do. You can't do all the things. You have to choose one goal. What is your goal? Pick a goal and focus on that one goal. And then you build out your strategy. What channels are you going to use? So are you using social media? Which social media platforms are you using? Never be afraid to just focus on one social media platform because it can get overcomplicated when you start adding in three and four different platforms. If you're not consistent on one, you're not going to be consistent on multiple. So choose your platform wisely. And then, how does that tie into email marketing? And then maybe you have a YouTube channel, which kind of goes under social media, but I feel like a little bit more. But like, how does this all play? Do you have a blog? All of that. So, strategy, choosing a goal. I want to grow my email list. That is my priority, and everything else is going to align with that. How do I make this happen? And so I'm going to use social media to get me visibility. I'm going to talk about my email list. I want people to connect with me. I want them to know this is my community. This is where I nurture them. That is what the goal is. And then of course you're going to have your email marketing system in place. So you're going to be using funnels, like when they automatically sign up for your lead magnet. Maybe you're offering like this webinar that was a paid webinar. Now it's like, hey, get it for free when you sign up for my email list. That's a really great way, to get people in, because people may not actually want to use a guide. I think guides are cool, but sometimes we're not always going to use them, especially as business owners. We get busy. So think about your audience and think about what's something that's really going to make them want to get on your list. And a small tidbit, because this is just in my mind, one cool way to kind of grow your email list, because I know this is always so popular. How do I get more people on my list? Do you know someone? Do you have like a friend who has like a great and large email list that they've been nurturing for so many years? Ask them to feature you in their emails. That's a great way to get more eyes on your business. Like, do you have like one core offer that you could present to their audience? That is a great way to grow your email list. It's probably one of the most effective ways to get more people on your email list. So anyway, and that's just a tactic. Like, that's a tactic. That's a part of the strategy. That's a tactic that works. But our goal is to grow our email list. And so yeah, I don't went to my tactics. Trends, like, what is trending right now? I think sometimes when we think of trends, we think that is a strategy. I can use this trending sound on this reel, or I can just create a whole bunch of reels, and that is my strategy of growing my email list, or whatever your goal is. And that's not a strategy, that is a tactic. A tactic is like a sub point within your strategy. Like, how are we going to make these specific channels do what they do in order for us to hit that overall goal? And so trends are tactics. I love trends. I love being on trend. I love when a new social media trend is out. I love to include them in emails. Why? Because it really does help your audience to connect. And that's why I do emails how I do emails. So for me, I like to do funnels and have those set up, scheduled, and they have a purpose. They serve a purpose for whatever, like, they serve a purpose. Like, if they're nurturing, sometimes they're just educational, and sometimes they are a straight up sales funnel. I like to put funnels in place because they work on automation, and they're working on the back end of the business, and you don't have to, be in in them all the time. And so that's a part of the strategy. But when I do like my ongoing email campaigns, I typically, for clients, I actually do them week by week. And the reason why is because I like to stay on trend. I love when things come up in the media. You see something on the shade room that is like so related to a specific client's brand, we could pop that thing in their newsletter, and now their audience knows, like, oh, this is real people behind this. Like they really doing this. Like, and that's always the goal, is to make the audience think that the client is the person who's doing it, whatever. But yes, so that's how I like to use trends. That is why I create emails weekly, because I like to be trendy. I like to, when the new words, if we doing what we doing, like, let's include this in the email this week, because trends, they fade real fast. You got to jump on them right away, because then everybody starts to do them, and you're like, okay, I'm tired of this already. So you have to jump on trends really fast. So that's one reason why we do emails weekly here at Simon & Co. And so, but that is just a tactic. That's just one way to, capitalize on an audience. And so was really what my message was that, we overcomplicate strategies. We overthink what they really mean. A strategy is really like, what is our goal? Here is our plan in order for us to hit that goal. And once we've implemented this plan for a certain period of time, now we're going to go ahead and reevaluate to see what works, what didn't work, what can we change, or what are we totally getting rid of. And so a lot of times when I think of marketing just in general, kind of takes you back to the scientific method that you learned back in school. I think when I first got into marketing, I think that was one of the things that I was so surprised about, because it's really like you come up with like your hypothesis, like, I'm guessing if I do X, Y, and Z, I will get this thing. So like, my hypothesis is, if I stay on trend, I stay visible, I do these things on social media, I'm going to be able to get 1,000 new subscribers to my email list within 3 months. And so it's kind of like what it is. And so then you implement those tactics, and then at that 3-month mark, then you go back and reevaluate. And so, did your hypothesis actually come true? What worked? What didn't work? And so you're analyzing that, and that's where your data comes in. That's when you're looking at the metrics. What works? What didn't work? Should I do this again? You know what? This was a really good idea, but maybe I didn't implement or execute this in a way that really brought in the traction or what I really wanted. So let me redo this. But that's pretty much how a strategy works. I think that also it's continual testing. It's always testing. Like, we're testing all the time. Again, when you get the data, you're testing. Like, this worked in this area, or this underperformed, or what, this did really well. Let me see if I can run this back and if this is going to work again. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes that was just like a one-hit wonder that worked that one time, and like, you can't re-implement it. And so it's things like that. All of that goes into the strategy, but overall, a strategy is a plan of how we're going to hit our goal. And then we have our channels, and then we have our tactics for each channel, and how we're going to actually make it happen. And so when it comes to strategy, if you're like, something that helps, I still don't know if I'm really able to do this myself, just know that we offer a mini strategy session where you and I will be on a call, and we can go over and talk about what some of your goals, like, what is your goal, and try to like really talk it out and get you moving in the right direction. But if you're like, I really want to deep dive into this, we do offer a 3-month strategy plan. And 3 months is for a reason, because it typically takes that long to see if something's working. I think so many times we start it, and then we're like, this is not working, a week later, and we're ready to give up. And that also is kind of where the tactics come in. You kind of have to be able to know when it's time to switch a tactic, because sometimes it's not the strategy, it's just the tactic and how you're doing it. Like, say for instance, Black Friday. You could be talking about Black Friday to your audience, and they're not really converting, and then you just switch it over to holiday season, and all of a sudden now people are more engaged. That's kind of like that's a small tactic. That's switching the messaging just slightly. Goal is still the same, still doing the same thing, but you just kind of changed how you framed it for your audience. And so that's what a strategy, your strategy doesn't change, but how you implement it does. And so that's kind of the goal of having this 3 month strategy session where you can really work out, go over what are your goals, how are we going to build email marketing up in your business so that you are working smarter and not harder, because I feel like email marketing really can take things off of your plate, especially when you get the right funnels in place. And so those automations really can work in the background, and you can be sending people to these different automations, and you have different triggers for different reasons, and they touch based on the different touch points of your business. But how we're going to get those people there, you got to start there first, and then we build into that. And so that's what that 3 month strategy session does. If either one of these, the mini sessions or the quarterly strategy session, sounds like something that you may need for your business, girl, schedule your consultation, and we can also talk about it. I can see once we start to talk, I'll be able to tell you what I think that you need. And a mini strategy session may be the thing that you need to do to start off, and then you may want to then move into that 3 month strategy session. So, yeah. And also, the strategy session is the place where you get to pick my brain. Like, what questions do you have? Like, I am an email marketer, but I am a digital marketer for real. Like, I really love this thing. Like, I really do, and I really I enjoy it. So come and pick my brain. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out how we can help your business move forward and how you can actually hit your goals. And so this is the perfect time. We're in the fourth quarter. Let's get ready for it. This is the time that you start to prepare for 2026. Like, if you didn't hit your goals in 2025, you still have time to hit some goals. Like, let's be honest, you still have time. You may need a mini strategy session so that you can see how you can still hit some goals this year. But also, this is really the time that's prepping and getting us prepared for 2026. So don't wait until 2026 to start working on your 2026 goals. Like, your goals we need to already be mapping goals out and what we're gonna do and how we gonna get there. Okay, girl. All right, this video was longer than I thought again. I think I'm a talker. I don't know. All right, girl, I'll see you soon. Bye.